Great day, man. Great day. Okay, so today, what are we talking about? Today, I'm going to talk about what got me into riding motorcycles. What got me to love motorcycles, right? What are some of the elements that took place in my life that made me say, yeah, I want to ride a bike? Well, let's talk about it, guys. Well, welcome to the channel. My name is Donovan Green. You are a part of Ride Fit Nation, where we talk about life, motorcycles, fitness, mindset. We're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff, traveling, everything. So if you are a rider and you have a passion for riding motorcycles, or you're thinking about riding motorcycles, you know, you're getting back into riding, welcome. If you just bought a motorcycle, a brand new bike, welcome. I'm riding my brand new Harley Davidson Road Glide 2022. My first Harley ever owning. I've always had Japanese bikes, from Suzuki's to Yamahas. What am I missing? Well, that was pretty much what I had. My wife had a Honda, and she had a couple of Hondas, you know. But I'm riding my Road Glide. I have no regrets about my Road Glide. Finally decided to pull the trigger and get one. All right, so when I was a kid in Jamaica, let's get right to the point. I'm not going to keep y'all here long. I respect y'all time. When I was a baby in Jamaica, which is where I was born in 1976, June 4th, I'm now 46 years young, and I had a family member. His name is and was a rider. He rode bikes, loved to ride bikes. His passion for motorcycles was amazing. This dude was a beast, and he kept everything fun. So he would literally come and kidnap me from my mom while she was sleeping, no lie, and bring me on his bike. He would take me out on his motorcycle, and I was too young to remember the things that we did or the places that we went, but I do remember him taking me on his motorcycle. Now, moving years later, this is in Jamaica. Years later, died on a motorcycle racing with a buddy of his who was a police officer in Jamaica. The both of them hit a truck, and it was a very, very bad accident, okay? Now, I'm not saying that's the sheer negativity. I'm telling you that because I don't race, you know what I mean? Because I have a couple of friends who met their demise doing that. So anyway, years later now, I'm a grown man in America. Grown man, and I started talking to people about motorcycles. I wanted to find out about how to actually ride the bike. You know, I drive stick shift, so I know that motorcycles are very similar. I ride a bicycle. You know, how hard can ride the motorcycle be? Well, I would ask these questions to guys and watch them ride their bikes, and I'd say, so what's that button right there? What's that button right there? What does that button do? How do you start the bike? You know, where does the keys go? What's that thing on the lower right side? What's that thing on the lower? And they started breaking it down. Well, the pedal on the right side is your rear brake. The lever on the right side is your front brake. The thing on the left side, that lever, is your clutch control, and the thing on the bottom on the left side is your gear shifter, right? That is your shifter, and that button starts the bike. And then I'm like, okay, so now let me get that in my head. How many speeds does the bike have? 5, 6, 12, 25? I don't know. How many speeds does the bike have? And they'll tell me, this bike has 5 gears. Okay, this bike got 6 gears. Great. Now I'm beginning to understand a little bit more about the bike, right? Now, I haven't ridden a motorcycle from that point. Never ridden a bike. Only times I've been in a bike is my cousin who put me in a bike as a child. So what I started doing was, I started sitting down on a regular chair and envisioning myself riding a motorcycle. And I'm like, all right, so this is the clutch, that's the brakes, front and rear. And I would move my feet like as if I'm changing the gear or if I'm pressing the brake in the back. And then I would shift the gear the same way I would on my stick shift cars. Now I had a Passat, I had a Honda Accord, I had a, was it a Probe? I had a Golf. No, not a Probe, the Probe was automatic. The Golf, Beetle, all stick shift. So I love driving stick shift. So I started, you know, playing around with that a bit. And I started asking more questions about the throttle. Like, okay, now that throttle, is that all gas? How do you take off? When you're taking it off, how do you take off? What would your tips be? And they would tell me like, yo, it's all into the clutch. The same way you would drive a car. You want to find that compression zone where the car is not really moving, but the second you start to release that clutch slowly, you feel the compression between the gas and the clutch, you know, and you're playing around with certain parts of that clutch, like, you know, you're going here, it's the same exact concept as riding a bike. You just got to feel it out using your hands instead of your feet. So I started practicing that. Where did I practice that? On the chair, sitting down and studying. Now, moving forward, now I'm in the barbershop. I'm cutting hair, you know, talking to these guys. All this took place in the barbershop, by the way, because guys will pull up on their bikes all the time. So my girl Stephanie, which is like my sister, she had a Ninja, a Kawasaki Ninja. I forgot the exact model and the year, but she would always pull up on her bike. And then one day I said to her, and she was one of the people who gave me some advice too, I said, Steph, I'm ready to actually ride a bike now. Can I ride your bike? She said, sure, D. So she left the keys and the helmet in her garage. And of course I went there and decided to get on the bike and ride the darn thing. Now here's the funny part. Even though I understood the concepts on a literal level, the applications is very different, but it still translates to each other, right? So I get on the bike, start the bike up. Did I feel nervous? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I felt nervous. I felt nervous, man. I felt nervous. Who don't feel nervous when you're about to get in a freaking machine, an iron horse that can move at 0 to 60 in a matter of seconds, huh? Come on. So I get on a bike. The first thing I did, I started playing around with the throttle and the clutch, getting to know where the gears are, you know, keeping the clutch down and playing with the clutch, the gear, and kind of feeling what that felt like. So I decided to start moving the bike. So I started moving the compression zone, trying to feel between the gas and the clutch. It jumps and shuts off like about 3 times, and that was pretty much it. After that point, I started feeling where the compression is at. So I did that, right? Look to my right, look to my left, no cars are coming, everything is feeling good. I go out, take my little turn. Of course, that little left turn was nervous as hell, because you're like, damn, do I turn the handlebar? Do I turn the bike? What do I do? You know what I'm saying? What do I do? So I get on that throttle. Oh my gosh, man. Yo, I hit the throttle. Whoop. The bike kept on going, and my brain just shut off. I'm like, where the hell is the brakes? Where are the brakes? Yo, it took me too long to figure out where the brakes was, and what was coming in front of me? A park. What was in front of me? A drop. What was in front of me? No railing, no nothing. I had to calm down in the midst of all of that. That took a few seconds, and remember where my brakes was, and not panic to hit that front brake really hard, okay? So I did not get to run over that freaking ledge. The bike didn't crash. I actually was able to stop the bike controllably, and I felt good that it happened. Why? Because I experienced my first experience of emergency stopping, knowing that I still was able to gain control if I had to stop in a situation. So what did I do after that? Well, I decided to bring the bike back to Stephanie's house, drop it off, drop the keys off, leave a thank you letter, and go and take my butt home. Psych! Hell no, I didn't do that. So what I did, I kept on riding. I get on this highway called the Cross Bronx Expressway, the River Parkway and the Cross Bronx Expressway. My mind is kind of blank. I confuse the two, right? So I get on a freeway on my first day of riding a bike, because I'm an all-in type of dude. Sometimes I don't believe in that playing it safe, right? I believe that in life you got to be willing to be smart though, but you know, playing it safe doesn't necessarily take you to where you got to go. I experienced the bike almost going over the damn curb, and I was able to control that, so I didn't end up in somebody's cookout, you know, party. And I got on the road, I got on the highway, started using my mirrors, started using everything. I got so confident, not cocky, I got confident, and I started learning the controls of the bike. Just listen, I was able to apply every single thing that went through my learning experiences to applying it to the bike. And let me tell you, from that point on, I rode that day for a while, and by the time I was done, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like I was riding for years. And you know what's funny? I was riding for years, but mentally riding for years. So when I got on the bike, it felt comfortable. It felt at peace, right? So that was that. So what I did after that was I didn't have my license by that time either. I didn't have no permit, nothing. I just had my driver's license, no motorcycle, nothing, no endorsements. So I set up the appointment and got the booklet, started studying the things that I needed to study to get my motorcycle, to get the endorsement. I don't remember, damn, it was years ago. I don't remember if I had to get a permit first. No, I didn't need a permit. I had to go and just take the test. So I used a cruiser. It was so many years, man. I forgot which bike I used, but I think it was a cruiser that I used to take the test and ace the test. So I got the Class M on my license. I borrowed a friend of mine's bike. Now, when all is said and done, when all that was done, my first bike that I decided to buy was a Suzuki Katana. Now, here goes how it ties to the beginning of the story. The Suzuki Katana, right, was owned by the brother, my cousin, who was the brother of, who was my cousin that took me on his bike as a child and died from his bike, right? My first motorcycle that I bought just happened to be randomly from my cousin, and I find that to be crazy. Now the Suzuki Katana is like a touring bike. You're still sitting up tall, you're not leaning forward like a crotch rocket. It's comfortable as heck, and the power was awesome. It was a 600, and I freaking loved the bike. After the Suzuki Katana, the next bike that I bought was a Gixxer, and then after the Gixxer, I bought a Honda 929, and after the Honda 929, I'm on the highway going at a certain speed. Now I'm a full rider now. You know, I'm riding for real. Like now I know how to ride. And my bike was laughing at me at 130 miles an hour going over the Tappan Zee Bridge. I sold the bike that same week. Didn't want to kill myself on the bike and do any of that. So I said, I'm gonna go to the cruisers next. So I went to Yamaha right up there in New Rochelle off of Main Street, if you know New Rochelle, and spoke to Mike and bought the V-Star, the Yamaha V-Star. At the time, it looked like a big cruiser for me because I wasn't used to cruisers, but the more I started riding, it was like a very purple, it's a purple color, bluish purple, beautiful color. But when I started riding the bike, I started realizing it's too small. You know what I'm saying? It was way too small for me, and I didn't like it. So I went back and got rid of that bike, traded that bike in, and I ended up buying a Yamaha Raider from Mike again. Now the Raider was a badass bike. That bike to me is one of the best Softails type style bikes that I've seen. The Honda Fury was kind of, to me, it was trying to mimic that bike. I don't know, because the Honda Fury was more of a chopper style where it came out more, but the Raider had a raked out look. But the problem with that bike was I didn't have a lot of customized options. I wanted to change out the back. I wanted to put a whole new fender in the back and all that. It was very hard to find things that really made sense. And that was, I believe, 2006 or 2007. But the bike was dope. So I took it to another dude, Joe, who was an Italian mobster cat. Joe was a straight mafia. He talked to you, yo, Donovan, what up, man? Yo, what you want to do over here, Donovan? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to this. Yo, the dude was straight out of the movies, man. The dude was dope. Yeah, he had a shop, a real nice shop. They closed down now, though. But we ended up getting the rims powder coated blue to match the bike, the color of the bike. We got the lights changed out to these bullet rear lights that had a bright red. Let me tell you, it was one of the baddest Raiders on the freaking road. We got the back cut into that this teardrop. They cut into the fender to make that teardrop effect, right? Because I wanted that gangster look in the back. It was nice. Then I sold. Then I got rid of that. I sold it to a dude. Now here's a story. Here's a story about that. So I sold my bike, right? The guy buys the bike. He lives in Queens, or was it Brooklyn? Whatever. So he comes up to Connecticut. This time I moved to Connecticut, Bridgeport. And he comes, he gets the bike, he picks it up, he rides the bike. He calls me and tells me that there's some dudes that's holding him hostage because they felt like he stole my bike. Now, I'm not gonna go deep into that because I don't want y'all thinking I'm some crazy cat, but I am crazy though. But my people saw my motorcycle and decided to hold this dude hostage until they was able to prove the fact that it was my bike. So I got on the phone with him. I ain't calling no names. Got on the phone with him, and I said, nah, I sold him the bike. It's his bike, because the bike still had the plates on it. I trusted the guy to take the bike and do what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? Trust goes a long way. Now, that was a funny story, you know what I mean? But I'm happy they didn't do nothing to the guy. I'm happy he was good. And I'm not trying to make myself sound like no badass dude, because I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a trainer. That's it. A dad, a husband, a bike rider, a vlogger, whatever. But I do have peoples, you know what I'm saying? So, got rid of that. Told myself I didn't want to buy no bikes no more. The world is too dangerous. People's riding ridiculous, all that. Then later on, I end up buying a Yamaha CT90, which is very similar to the Road King. Is you know, it's a metric bike. Beautiful bike. Love the bike. Put the van, not the Vans. I put the Cobras on the bike. That the pipe sounded like a beast. And yo, I loved it. Then we moved out to California. That bike was the longest bike I've ever had. I had that bike for over 4 years. That bike, I left that bike parked outside in the winter. Didn't have to put nothing to trickle the batteries, nothing. And that bike started up every single time. As a matter of fact, my Raider did the same thing as well. I don't know if these Hardys could do that, but that bike started up every single time. There was no vibration. There was nothing on that bike that I hated. The bike was dope. But the problem was I was not able to customize the bike the way I needed to customize the bike. I was like, man. So then I got the wise idea to go and buy the Yamaha M109, which me and my wife absolutely loves. I bought an M109. I got it for like $3,800, and it was a 2010 or no, 2012. It's been a long time, man. So I can't remember all these darn things. But anyway, 2012, and the bike was dope. But I sold it, and I sold my Yamaha because I didn't want no bikes no more. Once again, I went through the process, right? Don't want to ride. Too much fear. Too much people out here. People can't drive. People can't do that. Da, 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 da. Now, you see me on my bike again, riding my Road Glide, accepting the fact that something can happen to me on this bike. I accept the fact. I read to it. I talk to my kids. So that's my story of how I got to ride, and I brought y'all up all the way up to this process right here. Right up to this process right now with this bike. You see what I'm saying? So riding for me is fun. Is it dangerous? Yeah, but it's more dangerous when you're riding dangerous, when you're not understanding the idea of being mindful, not being safe, but being mindful. For me, mindfulness goes a long way. It goes a long way. And honestly, I personally love the idea of riding my bike and being able to get up like I did today and ride for no apparent reason. Just ride my darn bike, talking to you guys, you know, building camaraderie and sharing my life. That's it. So I'm done. You now know what got me to start riding the bike. I've been riding for lots of years. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments. I want to hear from y'all. All right? I'm out. Peace.